Hello, Content to Cash members. Michael Bridgman here, and this is your much desired, much needed Meta Ads training module. So, in this module, we won't be too long, but it's going to be a quick overview of how we do the meta ads and then a deep dive into each specific ad. So there are two types of ads that we run for Access Pass. There are what we call value content broadcast ads, which we'll get into in a sec. These are the ones that build your watch audience. Okay. And then there is the conversion ads, which are the posts that we then run towards the watch audience that help us convert that watch audience into leads. So, um, just a quick sort of analysis here of why we do this. All right. We know that personal branding, getting your message out there, it's critical. If you want to succeed in business today, attention is the new economy. Attention is the new currency of the way we operate things. So you're here because you know attention is necessary, but you're also here because you know that getting attention is really challenging, more challenging than anything else. All right. So I always like to say that you are going to invest both time and money into getting attention. You're going to. All right. The trick is, can it happen for you fast enough? Can it happen for you soon enough that that time and that money invested comes back twofold, threefold, fivefold, tenfold, 20-fold, right? The greats like Alex Hormozy, for example, that are masters at doing this and everything else. Gary Vaynerchuk, Mel Robbins, some of these huge influencers that we see, right, that are out there that are getting tons of attention. Well, first off, they've invested years building that audience. Second, right, they have, in some cases, five-figure, six-figure monthly budgets just for their personal media teams, right? The famous story that I always share is the Kylie Jenner story that she built Kylie Cosmetics, right? Along with obviously a huge team of people, but they took it from zero sales, from nothing to over a $1 billion valuation in 18 months. Why? Because she had a huge audience, massive influence over that audience. But that took decades and a huge amount of media and a huge amount of money to build that audience, right? So my point is, the whole idea behind the way we operate this system is to jumpstart that, to leapfrog that, to try and get that attention, to build that audience faster than in any other fashion. And that's the whole point. So let me show you a comparison, okay? So I'm going to show you first off the concept of what a boosted or broadcasted content cache content piece looks like. So what one of these value videos looks like when it's by itself, and what one of these value videos looks like when it's being broadcast. So I'm just going to use my literally my own account so I can show all this stuff. Okay, so here we are. Move this over. We are in my own Facebook account right here. And I'm going to start this from just sort of the very beginning where we go and find this information. So here's Michael Bridgman's account. And I am going to go straight into the Meta Business Suite. This guy right here. Boom. Meta Business Suite. It's going to pop up with all this stuff right here. And I'm going to go to content just as an illustration right now. Okay. And we can see how my content is working. Okay. These are all videos along here, right? And so as a comparison, okay, this one is getting, stop that. Okay, this one here, you know what? I'm actually going to go at this from a different direction. I don't want to go to Meta Business Suite. We're backing up for a sec here, everybody. We're going to go directly to my page, and then we're going to go just to the professional dashboard. Meta Business Suite has too many pop-ups going on right now. All right, here we go. So we're going to go to content. That's what we're looking for. None of that other stuff in the way. All right. So right down here, we can see these are all different pieces of content, okay, that don't have any broadcast intention behind them, right? They're not being boosted. Let's go even further. Let's go last 60 days. So as you can see, my average is 150, 120, and that kind of thing. And here's a video, right? Went into a sales call. This came out July 30th, 53 views. So not a ton is my point, right? Here's another one, right? 45 views. And I'm indicating the videos for a reason, which I'll get to in a sec. 45 views, 53 views, right? Some of the image posts getting a little bit more traction. And then we get into the broadcast posts. There we go. 13,200 views. 10,000 reach, right? Here's another one. 12,612. 8,771 reach, right? And if I scroll up my stop the annotation for a sec, my little things are going to move, but maybe I can get them on there. No, I can't. Anyway, so then we've got, once again, 1729 and another one, 3,040, right? And so my point is that the broadcast content gets way more views. This is the way we jumpstart it, is we do invest the time to make the video. We do invest the time to post it. We do invest the time to edit it, but we don't just leave it to the mercy of the algorithm to get us where we want to go. We say, no, we're not doing that. We are going to take this piece of content and we're going to broadcast it. We're going to get its reach going, get more eyeballs on it. Because why waste good, valuable content that can help somebody on your small audience or the crappy organic reach that Meta is giving us? Well, we're not going to do that. We're going to broadcast. Okay. So now the question is, how do we broadcast? How do we do this? Okay. So there's two important things to remember with broadcast. First off, these are low dollars. Okay. And we have to broadcast for 10 days minimum. We want to get the amount of traction that we want. We want to make sure Meta finds the right person that we're looking for. And these broadcast ads are demographic and psychographic specific, although not too tight in their range. I'll show you what I mean in a second. And they're also geographic specific. Okay. There is absolutely no point in broadcasting your content over the entire North American content, for example, even though you could sell to anybody, right? Let's say you're a coach or you sell a digital product, you could sell to anybody. It's great. But the fact is you're not going to get the saturation. You're not going to get that branding impression on the same person enough times to actually make that difference, right? As you can see, a lot of my posts that I was talking about, they had 13,000 views, 15,000 views or whatever, 14,000 views, 12,000 views, and it was over 8,000 people, 9,000 people. That meant that some people saw it twice. Some people saw it maybe three times. That's good. You want that. Because you have to ask yourself, how many times do you have to hear the same radio jingle? How many times do you have to see the same ad on television? How many times do you have to see, if you watch any TV ads anymore, how many times do you have to see the same person offering you something on your Instagram feed or your Facebook feed before you actually click the button? Often it's several times, two, three, four, five, six, 10. I know YouTube ads, sometimes it's the 50th, 60th time I've seen an ad from that person before I take an action, right? So that geographic specific is important. So we're ready to do that? All right, let's do that. I'm going to go back over to my screen right here. So here we are. So from my regular Facebook page, so this is when I load up my business account, I go to this regular feed. Okay, this is my news feed in theory. I'm going to go to Michael Bridgman, my page. So here is my page, everybody. You can see my videos right here. Okay, Here's my videos. And let's go to this one. This is my long training. We're just going to click the boost post button. Okay, so you're clicking this button right here, boost post. All right. So we're going to click boost post. Now it's going to bring up this screen here. You want to make sure I have access to multiple media accounts, okay? Because we do this for a lot of different clients. So you want to make sure you're on the right ad account. I imagine you probably are. What is the goal, right? So here we are. What is the goal of this post? All right. The goal of our posts isn't automatic. It is to get more views. Okay. First things first, we want views on these videos. That's the whole point. We're building a watch audience. Okay. We'll dive into how the watch audience grows and builds in a few minutes, but we're building a watch audience. So get more views is the objective. So click on that, save it. Now, add text. I have no problem letting Facebook do some AI generated ad text for me. That's fine, right? The only tricky part is that you want spacing in here. So see how it was tight, right? There's no white space here. You want white space so it's easier for people to read, right? So you want some white space. It makes it so much easier for people to read if they're going to be reading this stuff. Give them some white space, easier to read. Once again, do this. There. Boom. Okay, give them some white space so it's easier for them to read. Now, we do not want a button on these posts. Okay, the value broadcast posts, we want buttons on our conversion posts, not on these ones. So take them right off. When there's a button there, people tend to watch less, people tend to interact less. All right. Now, we want 10 days. That's good. We don't want a $20 per day budget. We want to take this down to $7 a day. Up here, it's going to tell me what my expected reach is. So that's right here, 1.2 to 3.5 thousand accounts per day. Now, if you want, okay, you could take this $7 higher and this number will go up, right? Boom, boom, boom. But here's the thing, you don't have to. All right. If you want to run it at $7 a day, just run it at $7 a day. Now, as I said, you could take it up if you want traction, if you want it faster. I've often done that. But the fact is, this is enough to build your watch audience, and it's enough to give Facebook the information it needs to actually effectively do what you want it to do. Now, let's take a look at the audience section. Okay. So I've got a few different audiences here. And the one I want to point out is this one. Okay, the time local audience, Surrey Langley. Now, as I had said, you guys, we want geographic specific. That's why I go for this one here. So here's the details, right? This is within 20 kilometers of 152nd Street in Surrey. Now, Surrey is right where I live, okay? Minimum age 25, average age 35 to 55 years old. Behaviors, small business owners, advantage audience on. That's all we need for this targeting. It's just that simple. We don't need anything super complex. Because people who are watching will self-select. They will themselves decide whether they're interested or not simply by watching the video. So we don't need a whole lot more. Now, we're going to create a new one, okay? Just so you see how that works. But that is how simplistic the audience targeting can be. But let's create a new audience. So I'll call this, I'm near Vancouver too, so we're going to call this Vancouver audience, September 2025. All right. Women, gender is fine. Advantage audience is fine. Now, here's what happens. I don't want 18 to 65 plus, right? The business owners that I'm helping, they're all likely to be 30 or older, and they're probably not likely to be older than 65. So we're going to shrink this down, right? To help us narrow in exactly who we want to talk to. 35 to 55. Now, let's say, for example, all right, you wanted to talk to young parents, okay? You wanted to, We've got one client here who's offering stuff to moms, okay, busy moms. So we would change this, right? Busy moms are not 55 years old. They're just not, right? So we would drag this all the way down to, let's say, 43. And we take this down to 25. That range. All right. So if we wanted to go busy moms, and what I would do up here is I would change this. I would go busy, whoops, busy mom audience, and then put in the geography, Vancouver. Okay. Busy mom, Vancouver audience, September 2025. And then I would take Canada out and I would put in the location, Vancouver, British Columbia. Boom, there we go. And I don't want it to be 40 kilometers. So I'm just going to shrink this down because 40 kilometers is just too big, much too big. We want a tight window on Vancouver here. So we get that saturation that I was talking about, right? Even this is probably too big. So we're going to take it down even tighter. How does it go? 17 kilometers, right? Vancouver's a big city. Almost 2 million people living in Vancouver and its outskirts. So this is plenty of young moms. All right. So detailed targeting for moms. Oh, my nose. First off, we don't want business owners here. We're looking for parenting. Parents with adult children. Nope. Parents with teenagers. Yeah, we want that. Okay. Oh, the other thing we're going to have to change is I just remembered. If this is for moms, we don't want all. We want women, right? The all would be if I was talking to those business owners, like I'd mentioned before. Okay. So parents with teenagers, right? And I'm just typing this stuff in. Parenting. We'll go all parents. And I'm just letting Facebook tell me what it thinks. Parents with preschoolers. Good. Parents with primary school children. See how we're just filling this in. Facebook makes it super easy. Parents with preteens. There we go. We got all that. We have got 3 to 5, 6 to 8, 9 to 12, 13, 17. Okay, we got all that. Good. Good. Now let's type in mom. What do they give? House moms, stay-at-home mom, no. Okay, so nothing super intense here that I would necessarily go with. Okay. This is probably good. Just the parents. All right. And the reason being is that we want a broad enough audience that parents, who, of course, we said we want women, right, are between the ages of 25 and 43. They have kids these ages. Well, stop that. Boom, 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 right? And we want to show our post to them specifically. And we would save this audience. Now we'll go up, make sure we've got it all correct. Busy Mom, Vancouver audience, September 2025. Looking at women between the ages of 25 and 43. Now we could tighten this up. We could probably actually say we're looking for women more like 30 to 43, right? Really tighten in the range that we want to talk to if we want to. Okay. Vancouver within 17 kilometers. That's still going to give us a huge demographic to work from. And all of these parent elements. Save the audience. Boom. Now I have a busy mom Vancouver audience right here. See it? This is the audience that I just built right there. Okay. Now what I can do is just click on this. Boom. So now I've got my audience. All right. And the great thing is you build this once, and every time you go in to build your boosted or what I call broadcast post, okay, or to broadcast out your value video, you've got this sitting here waiting for you. And it's ready to rock and roll. Placements. Yeah, we're good on all this stuff. This is using my Thank You Media Pixel, which is fine, using my Amex, which is fine. And you'd want to obviously change this stuff to, well, it's all going to be your ad account. And then you would go publish. Now, I'm not going to hit the publish button because this is not meant for women, right, of that age. in that range. Now, what I could do, of course, is do the time local audience if I wanted to, but this particular post is not about that. All right. So that, my friends, is how we do a broadcast ad for our value video content. And pardon me one moment, I have somebody interrupting. Hang on a second, everybody. Okay, so my little visitor here dropped off this beautiful painting of sunshine for me, or painting, a drawing of sunshine for me. So, but now let's move forward. We'll see if I get interrupted by a little youngling again, but we shall move forward then on to the conversion posts and the conversion ads. So remember, $7 a day is plenty for 10 days on, and I'm using Canadian dollars, so that could be $5 US, whatever that comes out to in euros or pounds. So it's not a whole lot. Like honestly, we're not building these broadcast ads with a whole lot, because when you broadcast them out and you get several thousand views on something, you also know which one's suddenly going to give you 8,000 views versus which one gives you 18,000 views or 20,000 views. And so we want wide saturation with some of the stuff, which is why I don't encourage you to go like 25, 35, $50 a day on something because you don't know whether that's the one that's going to work. And for most of us, when we want to go, and push an ad into the 50 or $100 a day, which I've done plenty of times, I've spent $1,000 a day on ads. You want to know the ad's going to work and it's going to have the results that you want. So we use broadcast ads to really leach out of our audience what they're most interested in. And therefore, we can continue to create that kind of content and continue to push the ones that work the best. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. Now, we talk a little bit about this concept of building a watch audience. So a watch audience is people. Oh, hang on a second. Yes, love. Thank you, sweetie. Okay, I gotta finish my training, sweetheart. Thank you. So a watch audience is people for me that have watched 10 seconds or longer of my videos. Okay, if they've watched it for 10 seconds or longer, they didn't just simply watch by accident. They were legitimately interested in the subject. And so when you go into building this custom audience, which I'm going to show you how to do in just a few minutes, that's where the magic comes into play, is those broadcast content pieces. Remember, we're doing 3 of those a week. Bang, bang, bang. And then you start pushing those. So then you start paying $7 a day, $5 a day, $10 a day, whatever it is, to get several thousand people watching that. Out of that several thousand people watching, there'll be, you know, 15, 20% of them that stick around for 10 seconds or longer. That's where you build your watch audience. That's this warm audience that you're cultivating and building. Okay, that's why we do it this way. And that's how you jumpstart years, sometimes over a decade of audience building that some of these people and some of these big brands have done is you just start to pay for that attention in a small and effective way. So let me jump into what a conversion post looks like first. Okay, so before we jump into the actual meta ads part, I want to talk about what an actual conversion post looks like. And I've got a couple of different examples here for you. So some of them are they're from 2 different companies and they're 2 completely different styles, which is great. All right. So this one here, let me pull this over. Okay. This is one from our client, Shanna from Confident Kids Canada. Okay. This is a conversion post that looks like this. You can use videos, you can use images. The watch audience posts, right? Those value video posts, they have to be video. That's the only way to build a watch audience is to have something to watch. But when it comes to a conversion post, okay, this is when you can play around with either image or video. And we've got examples of both here. Now, what a conversion post does is it gets somebody to say, I'm interested, and to raise their hand. So this is the conversion offer. You might be offering them a really great deal, like what Shanna's doing with this post. So this is like, hey, you've watched all these videos, et cetera, et cetera. now it's time to buy, or now it's time to take me up on this offer. And so she's making a great offer, which we'll go into in a sec. It could be your CSTP, which is a complete solution to a tiny problem lead magnet, right? So for example, one of our customers right now is about to launch her CSTP, which is a bedtime routine to help cure insomnia and restless leg syndrome and help give you better sleep, right? It's a little white paper. It's like 8, 9 pages. Somebody can read it in less than 10 minutes and start using what they learn. Basically, these are CSTPs are consumable, quick to put together, quick to consume things that somebody would be interested in. And um, or they could be discounts, or they could be specific promotions, or they could be a contest, like what I'll show you in a second. They are ways of getting somebody to raise their hand and say, I'm interested in your business, and go from being an audience, right, from being someone who's watching to becoming a lead in some capacity. So in this case, right, we put this image post out and it was very effective. This one was super effective, right? It's an open loop post. The rumors are true. And the first thing you say is, what rumor, right? Like you automatically go, what rumor is true? And she basically says, there's never been a better time to get your kiddo into our program. My amazing team of equine teachers and myself have put thousands of hours into teaching and helping kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to take $100 off of our regular price and give you a $900 gift just for signing up, right? So she makes a really awesome offer right here. And she got multiple sales from this post. Why? Because we showed it. We boosted this post to go directly to her watch audience. So these were already people that had been watching her stuff. So this was one of her posts. Okay. This was another one. Okay. So same thing, right? $900 gift. She's trotting towards the camera here, right? And this was a video offering the same, making the same offer. But once again, showing that video to her watch audience. And from there, right, people messaged her. There was a learn more or message button, and people messaged her for her offer. The reason this works so effectively, and we spend anywhere from normally $10 to $15 a day getting this out there. The reason it's so effective is because we're showing it to a warm audience. These are people that have already watched her stuff. Okay, so this is one style where you're asking people to engage with you, send you a message, reach out to you for your offer. Okay. This one is the one that we ran at the end of August for Just About Pets, for example. This one here is the same thing. It's a conversion offer, but this one is win a year of free grooming. So we did a contest to give away an entire year of free grooming. All right. And to enter, like and share this post and comment groom down below to get entered in. So as you can see here, a lot of people commented groom. 87 comments, right? This post got 114,000 views in Abbotsford, which is only 160,000 people. So it got a lot of traction in our little city. And it's lots of cute posts of doggies, right? And this post was broadcast out to two different audiences, a general audience and a watch audience, so that we got maximum traction on this post. And having an engagement style post like this means that people aren't leaving the platform to get what they want. And we generated about 52 or so contest entries and a whole bunch of conversations about grooming and a bunch of new clients from this particular post. Now, that's why we do them this way. Okay, so the question becomes, how do we do it? Right? How do we broadcast out to that watch audience? So what we're going to do right now is, first off, we're going to go build the watch audience, because you can't broadcast to a watch audience unless you have it in your custom audiences inside Meta. And then we're going to pretend to boost a post to that watch audience. Okay, so I got to jump between a couple of different Facebook accounts to do this. So let me jump over to my regular account here. So we're back into my account. This is where we're looking at boosting. So we're going to leave this right here. Okay. So once again, we are directly in the Facebook regular page when you open up to take a look at your business page. We're going to go to Meta Business Suite. Boom, right there. We're going to go to your Ads Manager. Okay, so Ads Manager is right here, everybody. We're going to go to Ads Manager. And when we open it up, we get options: account overview, campaigns, audiences, billing, payments, and ads reporting. We want to go to audiences. So Ads Manager into audiences. And now once again, up at the top here, I have access to a bunch of media accounts because of all the clients we work for, but you want to make sure you're on the right ad buying account for those of you who have multiple ad accounts. So just make sure you're in the right spot. Time Media ad account. Good. Right up there. Now, we had just built our busy mom audience of Vancouver, which I won't use, but we're going to create an audience. Okay, so here is the audience button right here. And we want to go custom audience. So choose a custom audience source. This is where we want to go down to video, right, as the meta source. Video, and we go next. Choose an engagement type. This is where we go 10 seconds or longer, right? You can even go 15 seconds if you want to. If you want to make it really tight, you can go 25%. I've done all of those, right? 10-second, 15-second, or 25%. We're just going to go 10 seconds right now because we sort of let people self-sort. And we go done. Audience retention 365 days is fine. Audience name. We'll go, because this is my account, Surrey Langley watch audience. And we'll go September 2025. In description, 10% views from September 2025, Surrey and Langley area. Okay. Then we go to select videos. So I open this up and it's going to ask me which page that I want to use. Once again, I have access to a lot of pages because of what we do. So I'm going to go to Michael Bridgman and my Facebook page right there. And so you see 3-second views right here, right? These are all the videos that have had 3-second views and what the view numbers are. So I'm going to go and we're going to go back to September the 1st. Remember, because I said this is the September audience. 15th update. And I can include all of these videos. Right? And so now what's happening is Facebook is going to start building me a watch audience from the videos that I select. Now, I could go back and I could say, I want to go videos from July all the way to September. Right? And so I'm seeing these ones. But up here, I just want to point out, you guys, if you're like, where's some of the videos that I want? There's a pages tab here. It's easy to miss. Okay, it's really easy to miss. And so what I can do is I can go, okay, all of these videos that I did, anybody who's watched a reasonable amount of time, I want all of them. Now, as you can see, 25 views, 21 views, 14 views, 2,500, 9,100, 9,800. These are when we hit the broadcast button. See the big difference, right? Like you can see how much more traction the broadcast ads are getting. Obviously, because we're paying for it, but that's the point. We want a big enough audience that's actually going to get us the traction that we need. Okay, so I could confirm this and I could switch this. I could say 10% views from July to September 19th, right? And I could create this audience. So I'm going to do that right now. And what you'll see here is it says populating. So normally these watch audiences sometimes will take a day or two, or at least several hours to collect enough data to then populate that audience. Okay. And what you want is around 12 to 15,000 people in that audience. That's what we're looking for. So many of you have heard me say you need to broadcast out and there needs to be a certain number. Like we need to get that number up high enough. Hence, we need to be building your broadcast ads over multiple weeks. This is why. Facebook needs a large enough audience to actually push those ads out towards. Okay, so hang on one sec, everybody. Just have some questions here. Only on business pages, Philippa. Yeah, yeah, only on business pages. So, and yeah, the best thing to do is this recording will be, or this training will be in the back office. So it's best to sort of watch side by side, um, and open up your own Facebook business page and then marry exactly what I'm doing here, right? To pull that off. Now, let's go back for a second here because now that this is building, okay, so this is populating. Let's take a look at an account that already has a populated business. So we're going to go back to Better Business Suite. We're just going to go back to Facebook for a second. And we're going to pop into Shanna's Confident Kids Canada account. And we're going to go over to her page. So let's go down and find one of those conversion ads. There we go. There we go. Here's one right here. Can I give you a $900 gift, right? Like this is the ad that we saw. Everybody remember we saw this one in that other post. This was one of the ads that she boosted or that she was using to convert. So let's just say we go boost again because still use them as posts, everybody. Okay. Still use these as posts because somebody watching your page might still see it. So there's no reason not to use it as an actual post. But don't forget, this is a post that we want a lot of traction on. So ultimately, we're looking for those clicks. So we want to boost it. And we want to get more messages. That's the point of this, is to get more messages. Okay. The ad text here is fine. Advantage is fine. We don't need this stuff here. And we go to custom audiences. So if this was, let's just say we're Advantage audience. You're looking around, you're like, okay, where's that watch audience? Right? We built a watch audience for Shanna. Where's the watch audience? You come down to your custom audiences. Annotate your custom audiences right here. Okay. You click this little button, boom. 10-second watch audience from June to August. And then we boost it to them specifically. And we would go 10 days. We might go $10, right? And go from there. Now, take a note. See how much smaller this audience volume is compared to the value video post that we were boosting before, right? That was into the multiple thousands per day of views. Reason being is that we're only showing this to these people. there's less of them, right? When she was broadcasting to an audience, so for example, let me show you. If we go here, this number will go up if we go to building views here. Watch. See, 646 to 2,000, right? Because this is people who are 30 to 45, parenting, 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 parenting. Gives us more traction, gives us a wider audience versus us going to her custom audience, which is people who've watched 10% or more of her videos. This number goes down. As I said, this is a smaller audience. Now, caveat for Shanna and this particular account is that Sylvan Lake is not that big and it's got a lot of parents in it. So the funny part is that this particular demographic is most of the city. So it's still going to be a pretty close audience. If you were to do this in Vancouver, right, or New York City or something like that, or London, these numbers would be dramatically different, right? If you were to say build views audience in London within 40 kilometers and you had the parenting stuff, this number would be 10,000. It's just that many more people there, right? So, then what you would simply do is click this, you've got your watch audience, and then you would hit publish. It's just that simple, right? It's not super complicated. Is it a little time consuming? Yep, for sure. You got to go through the process, okay? But it's not super complicated. And one of the major reasons is because we're using a watch audience, right? And Shanna's got both here in her audience, which is great. We're using this watch audience or this audience here to create a watch audience from, and then we're using the watch audience to send her offer ads to. Right? So then you hit publish on the conversion ad and just watch as the conversations roll in. And that is how you build the ecosystem of broadcast ads, broadcasting your value videos and your valuable content to people, building up that watch audience over time. It'll be 10, 15, 20,000 strong, okay, or more. Then moving to turn that watch audience into actual leads using a conversion post, be it one that's like directly like Shannon did, like, hey, buy my offer, or what Just About Pets did, which was enter this contest. And then we collected their, we got information from them because they entered into the contest and it fired off the automated sequence that we use through Hourglass and that engaged with that client. All right. So, any quick questions from my viewers today on this before we wrap up this training? Yes, Philippa, go ahead.
So would you recommend that I change my group pages to business pages for a start?
So
to
if you've
get the
got,
maximum out of this?
well, group pages are to build a community with, right? So that's what they're specifically for. A business page is a marketing asset that's out there trying to get attention for itself and your offers, right? So they serve two different functions. A group is more about bringing people together and then getting that group all working in the same direction and potentially offering people something in that group. Whereas a business page is this is our business, we're open for business, this is what we do style page, right? So I think they serve two different functions, Philippa. So my recommendation is that you have a personal brand business page that is out there making connections and making offers on your coaching programs. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I've got that already, and then I've got 2 group pages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so essentially groups act as community building tools. And in theory, those communities should be acting as lead generation for you, right? They should be getting people to sort themselves and raise their hand as far as becoming a prospect is concerned, or at minimum, constantly growing so that you always have a group of people to connect with, talk to, and solicit business from. Right? That's what the group pages are for in the business world, right? But no, I wouldn't convert your group pages into business pages. I would use your business page. You could use your business page to grow that watch audience, right? Do your videos, broadcast them out there, do your value videos, right? Teach people how to set better goals, teach people how to do these other things. Broadcast those out, push those out with your dollars. And from that watch audience, you can say, hey, I've got a community that is all about this. It's totally free to join. We have lots of awesome people in there, and we do trainings in there, and we do all sorts of cool stuff inside this community. If you want to join it, right? Type the word community below or type the word group below, and I'll send you the link, right? Or you just put the link directly into your post and you get people to join that way. And then you use that conversion post and you show it to people who have watched 10% of your value videos. That's the way the ecosystem works, right? And that's why it's a flywheel effect. That's why you that audience, for example, that I built for Time and Michael Bridgman, it will continue to grow. If I continue to push those videos that happened from July to September, that watch audience just keeps growing. It doesn't stop, right? As long as I keep pushing those videos, that watch audience keeps growing. And so that's why it acts as a bit of a flywheel effect. So the longer you do this, the more content you stack, the more videos you make, the wider that watch audience becomes based on each particular period of time that you build one. And building watch audiences should be something that you do on really a monthly or bi-monthly basis. So I often will build watch audiences that are a few weeks behind where my media buying is, right? So as I said, I built one for September, but I wouldn't necessarily build one for September normally. I would build it for um, like July and August right now, right? People have watched my videos in July and August right now. But I didn't have enough views then because I wasn't broadcasting, wasn't paying for the views. Okay. Any other questions? Awesome. So now, of course, for VIP clients, we run all this stuff for you. This is what we do, right? We get in there and we broadcast all the ads. We do all the conversion ads and all that kind of stuff. So this is part of what we do for VIP clients. But for Access Pass members, this is a very effective way of getting that content out there and then converting it into prospects and leads and making some money. Okay. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you got great value out of this training, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao for now.